Hi there, I'm Monica from Pop Documentary. And we know that the rising cost of living in Australia is a matter of grave concern to so many Australians. So today I'm in the heart of Sydney to find out what people really think about this and how it affects them. If you have any opinions or thoughts, please put them in the comments section and don't forget to like and subscribe to Pop Documentary. Rising cost of living here in Australia.
It's terrible. Yeah, it's not good. Sound doesn't improve. They need to do something. It's a bit of a joke, honestly. Groceries being expensive. They need to fix that. They need to sort that out.
So I guess they're on the naughty list.
Yes, not on the good list right now. Definitely not. Yeah, they need to work that out if they want to get back on the good list. Otherwise, they're getting cold for Christmas this year. Yeah.
Exactly.
Give them gifts.
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Rising costs of living here in Australia.
To put it bluntly. Yeah, I work a full-time job and a casual job, and I still don't have enough in savings to do anything, so...
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
So it feels like you're in some sort of rat race and you can't get out of it.
Pretty much, yeah. Yeah. Which is fun.
We're in the same boat.
Yeah. I mean, rent's just like super expensive, and it's just not like, I don't know. Even if you move like further out, like areas like Ashfield and whatnot, used to be like $400 a week for 2 bedrooms, and now they're like $700, so it's just like quite a jump. Even my rent this year went up like $50 each per person, so yeah.
Jeez.
Yeah.
Sounds like it's really affected you.
Yeah. Hence 2 jobs.
Far out. Well, good luck to you.
Thank you. Godspeed.
Cost of living here in Australia.
It's pretty bad.
Yeah, it's not great.
Has it affected you guys?
Not really, not much big. Only 16, don't have to buy a house.
Yeah, I mean, we're not buying houses or anything, but like definitely just like purchasing day-to-day things, 100%.
I am from Auckland, so it's not as bad as Auckland probably.
What do you think of the rising cost of living here in Australia?
It sucks.
I mean, it's becoming extremely hard to live, including like affording groceries on a weekly basis, you know, and when over 50% of your paycheck goes to rent, that can be quite ridiculous as well. But I think it's really hard for many Australians, including myself.
I'm sorry to hear that.
I think everyone's kind of going through that same struggle, so, or at least a majority of people from the people I've interacted with anyways.
So it sounds like a lot of people, are kind of going through the same thing and are in the same boat.
At least kind of where I work and the people I interact with, yeah. A lot of the people I interact with are students, so yeah, I would say that they're quite struggling with the cost of living crisis. I mean, I hope things kind of equal out a bit more, that there's a bit more equity introduced between the discrepancies in pay and the cost of things like the price gouging that Woolies and Coles does is obviously incredibly shameful. So yeah, I hope that kind of somebody puts a stand on that. Yeah.
I mean, it's stressful for all Australians. I feel like there's such a bridge in the like gap between people like up high and like kind of like looking down on the people below, and that I just wish someone would like actually do something about it, because we keep hearing all these plans like, oh, we're gonna change things, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do that, and then when it comes down to it, you don't see any change, and it's only getting worse from here. Like, I'm like pretty young, like I'm only 18, and I see people around me trying to move out from their family's house and just not being able to because of like the cost of like unis and like wanting to study and pursue a career that they're passionate about, but also not being able to afford it, which I think is such a big issue, especially for students now. Yeah.
Thank you so much. And
No
good luck.
worries. Thank you. Have a good one.
Well, I don't think we can complain because it's the same all over the world. So I don't see why we should complain. It's everywhere.
Oh, they're so bad. But I guess they'll eventually end, hopefully, when interest rates come down.
And has it affected you personally?
Yeah, definitely. But you just cop it like everyone else.
Oh, I don't know what to say. What can you say?
It's everything is rising, and you have to just try to manage somehow. That's all. It
Yeah.
is like everything is nearly doubled, if not more.
I
Starting with electricity and products and everything, but then the condition of the world today is in some places there are I don't know, like there's lots of floods, and there are lots of crops being lost, and it affects us here in Australia as well. It's not like only in Australia. Something happens somewhere in the world, it affects us everywhere in a world these days. So we just have to be, I don't know, we have to do the best. And I have a
I think nowadays there is an attitude, especially very high up. Serve yourself. Forget about the rest. And I'm really upset how obscene the income is of the top 1% and how little they put back. It's obscene. It's not enormous, it's not gigantic, it's obscene. So if everyone paid their fair share into the community, like the people at the bottom do, we would have all that's necessary. But we don't. The income is not there from those who have this obscene amount of money coming in. And I look at people comment about the politicians, how much the politicians get, but they only get a fraction of what the top people in business cream off for themselves. And it seems to be an attitude of push the ones at the bottom who do the work more and more to do more, while we take no responsibility what happens to the companies, and we deserve to get everything we need. And I'm really offended by that. There.
Well, I know that some people are doing it really tough. I think that the banks could probably do more to help out. But I guess that's a common story.
Very expensive.
Very expensive?
Yeah. Because only student here.
How has it affected you as a student?
Yeah, very hard for me.
I'm sorry to hear that. Well, good luck to you both.
Yeah, thank you.
The rising cost of living here in Australia.
Terrific. Terrific. I think we all suffer from it, except from the very wealthy ones. So, yeah.
Thank you.
I think don't elect in Peter Dutton and stick with Albanese. Best we can do.
Rising cost of living here in Australia.
Yeah, annoying. I notice it more at the supermarket. Definitely. Things that I used to buy, like more fancy things, I don't buy as often now. With our home loan and mortgage, don't really notice it too much because we're fine like that. We've got enough money saved, in our offset account. I've noticed it with car insurance growing up. Also, just like the treats, we're not really buying, the things that you normally would have bought, I suppose, like something more expensive at Christmas time. A little bit more like, this for Christmas, I'll just buy him something cheaper and try and save him the money. I suppose that's mainly the things that we find. Groceries is the big thing. Yeah.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Right.
Definitely groceries. Yeah, I find, and even public transport, the prices have gone up too. And the service is no better, but that's another thing. Look, we try to cut back on other things like eating out. So maybe if we ate out once a week, now it's once a fortnight. So anyway, okay. The cost of living, I find that a lot of young people, they just feel like that they're like, what difference does it make if I do this one change or whatever? I try and teach the young ones, and I sound like an old lady, the young ones at work about, if you don't buy your coffee every day, in the end of the day, it's not very much. It might be like $4, but over a whole week and over a whole year, that's a lot of money, and over your lifetime of working. So I try to sort of, a few little things I try and get them to change. Like you see them, they're only earning, let's say, 40 grand a year, but they're buying their lunch every day and buying breakfast. Like, don't complain about cost of living and not being able to afford whatever if you're buying, you know, brand new this and handbags and trips overseas and so I think that's the young ones have got to learn about budgeting and saving for the future, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. I think
Yeah.
that when you have kids, right?
I
then
think the
it's just-
best advice for adults to their children is teach their children the value of money and about saving, and that buying that bag is like a whole day of my pay. Like, is that worth? Do you need to have 20 of them? You know, do you need an instant fashion? That's another thing. Don't get me started on instant fashion. The shops encourage it. They, you know, people Zara, H&M, just the turnover of the new fashions. There used to be, say, maybe like 3 or 4, you know, cycles of fashion a year. Now some of these stores have 50 or 52 every week. There's something new that's come in, and the young ones, they see it and they just think, oh, it's only $20 or it's only $25, or, you know, this is a cheap, but it all ends up, you know, in landfill, and all just, it's a waste. So buy nice things. Buy one nice handbag and have it last. It might cost you a few $100s, but you don't need 20 crappy handbags, if that makes sense.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So they're definitely teaching the young ones about the value of how much work, effort you have to put in to pay for that thing. Yeah.
Rising cost of living, well, it goes up everywhere, all around the world. I don't know whether Australia is more expensive than other parts of the world, but you have to accept that everything goes up.
Thank you. And has it affected you personally?
Beg your pardon?
Has the inflation affected you personally?
No, I'm very lucky. I'm a pensioner now, full time, and I budget. I'm careful. You know, I don't have extravagant tastes. Budget. You got to watch your money like a hawk. Write down on a sheet of paper what your budget is, how much you're spending. Keep a note of where your money is going. Is it too extravagant? Maybe it's alcohol, maybe betting. These things, you know, you got to keep track of that. All right?
Yes, I think that's what happens when you live in a place where everybody wants to live. So Sydney's the best place. Australia's the best country to live in. Sydney's the best city, maybe Melbourne. But it is very expensive, but worth it.
I think the rise of costs is all over the world, really. I was just talking to my cousin in Spain, and they were saying the same thing. So I don't think it's just isolated to Australia.
And has it affected you personally?
Oh, you're just budgeting, and I think it depends on where you are. If you're a single mum, you know, looking after kids and things like that, it'll be a lot more difficult as well. And I sympathise with people like that as well. Yeah. 2 years ago, was renting for $380. We just saw it come back up $590.
Gee.
And this is in St Mary's, right? So it's incredible. The family of 4 young kids, had to just move out. They can't afford that sort of stuff.
Gee.
So rentals are extremely expensive. And I know the government and architects and everyone are, you know, trying to get this housing sort of sorted out, but that's going to be a long time as well before all these people get banked up. Let's hope and see, but like I said, it's all over the world as well. I think we only concentrate on what happens here, but it happens everywhere. Let's hope for the best, yeah? Thank you so much.
I don't think I feel it, but what do you want me to answer?
Like, we're trying to get opinions of how it's affected people.
Well, decreased buying capabilities, I don't think people cannot afford food, but most people have hard time do spendings like that they would not usually do, right? Like that's where I cut down. I don't think we have it that bad, but it really depends on your income, on your spending habits, on whatever you do. Yeah, it's hard to tell. It's not one size fits all, of course. I know a lot of people complain always about rising interest rates, and but it's inevitable. I mean, if you made housing is more like an investment than somewhere to live, that's what's gonna happen anyway.
Depends how much you earn, doesn't it? Yeah, it's not good. But we're in a better state than a lot of other countries. That's what I think. Australia's in a good position for that.
And has it affected you, the inflation and the rising cost of living?
No, I just live within my means. I think a lot of people don't live within their means. Just be humble about what you do. Got a roof over your head, got some food, buy sensibly. What else can I say? Do the work you love doing, and things will come to you. That sounded a bit philosophical, but yes.
Australia.
Sure. It's pretty, considering we're both freshly 18, it's pretty difficult, pretty bad.
Yeah, I'd say it's pretty bad, especially like the cost of housing. Like we're 18 right now. We definitely had discussions like, how are we gonna move out? Like, when is that happening?
I don't think we are gonna move
I
out.
don't think it's happening.
Yeah, so we're pretty conscious about all this kind of stuff, and it's just kind of demeaning, difficult.
To be fair, I think the government's also in a tough spot, and just in terms of how they're responding to a lot of the cost of living. A lot of it actually isn't related to do with what they're doing. It's around stuff around the world. So I kind of get it, but it doesn't help me. You know what I mean? Yeah, I would say like young people tend to disproportionately are affected by like wealth disparity. We don't have wealth. We might like some of us make good income, but having no wealth, especially in houses, kind of is not good long term. I would say. Well, get a good job.
Get a good job. I already have a job lined up, figured out. I'm being smart about what I want to do and just taking every opportunity I can to make as much money as I can and rely on my parents and they were financially well off, so not anything amazing, but I'll be able to have some support. I don't live in a bad area either, so I'm privileged in that.
I would say without the support of like parents, it's pretty hard to actually generate wealth. Especially when everything's so expensive. Like to buy your first house, to actually get like an asset under you, like cost of entry is pretty high, I would say. So yeah.
I remember I calculated if I made just a normal amount of money and I put it in a superannuation kind of calculator, and it would have taken me like 100 years to reach $1 million for a house. And I was just like, yikes, oh my God.
Hopefully government's housing policy gets better, but I don't know. I don't have a lot of hope for that.
Yeah. It's pretty difficult. It's pretty,
I wouldn't say me personally, because I do still live with my family and stuff, but I could imagine a lot of people definitely would be,
I try to cut down on expenses, but it's very difficult, especially, I'm young, you want to go out, you want to have fun, your mates are going out and stuff, and you want to be able to have that fun, but, it's so difficult every time having to pay for something and just looking at my bank account.
I know, it's like a piece of my soul's
Exactly. And it's like, that isn't my money, it's my father's money I'm using up. And it's difficult, because he's a tradie, he's a working man, and just seeing the money he's given me just drain is super difficult. I imagine there's like something related, like financial anxiety,
Yeah, for sure.
Then, so.